Welcome to the Technical Writing Success Podcast. This is episode 146.
And today we're looking at a really significant step many technical communication teams consider.
Absolutely. I'm Fred, your host.
And I'm Daphne.
Today we're unpacking an article by our very own producer, senior technical writer Kurt Robbins. It's called Tool Review. Paligo.
That's right. It was published on LinkedIn back on October 25, 2025. And honestly, if you're a technical writer or maybe a documentation manager or even an IT pro looking at content systems, this is really relevant stuff.
Yeah, our goal today is to kind of break down the key takeaways from that review. It really focuses on this huge shift, doesn't it? Moving from tools we all know, like Word or maybe WordPress,
To something much more structured, a dedicated content management system built for technical docs.
Exactly. It's a big leap.
It really is. It's like going from, say, writing a whole book as one file to building it with really specific labeled blocks. Paligo is one of the big names in this cloud-based structured approach, promises a lot of efficiency.
But, as the article points out, it's a serious commitment, both financially and methodologically.
Definitely.
So let's dig into that. What's the foundation? What makes Paligo different right from the start? Let's call this its foundational strengths.
Okay. Well, the number one thing, according to the review, is its complete dedication to topic-based structured authoring. It's not flexible on this.
Meaning, not just templates.
No, not just templates. It's about enforcing rules on the content itself. You have to create small, distinct units, like a single procedure or one definition or a specific reference table. Everything is a topic.
Right. And technically, under the hood, it's using XML, isn't it? Which, let's be honest, can sound pretty intimidating for writers not used to code.
It can, yeah. XML sounds like tags and complexity.
Right.
But Paligo's approach is actually quite clever here. It uses XML for structure and automation.
But it hides most of that complexity from the writer. There's a clean web editor. You focus on the meaning. Is this a step? Is this a warning? And the system sorts out the tags behind the scenes.
So you're not thinking page layout. You're thinking content block. Like, here's a standard safety warning. Here's how to perform task X.
Exactly. You're building with components.
Yeah.
And that modularity, that's the key. That's what enables the biggest benefit. True single sourcing and content reuse.
Okay, let's talk about that benefit because that leads right into the operational advantages. Consistency, scale, and the IT appeal.
Right. The consistency part is huge. Think about it. You create one component, say a crucial legal disclaimer. You use it in 50 different manuals. Then legal changes one word. In the old way, you'd have to manually find and update that disclaimer in all 50 places. Tedious. Error-prone.
Yeah.
With Paligo, you update that single source component once, and bam, it automatically updates everywhere it's used. The article says this slashes maintenance time and ensures consistency instantly. That's massive. And for bigger teams, the complexity management.
Yeah, that's another big plus. It has robust version control, branching, release management. So your team can be working on docs for version 2.0 of a product.
In a separate branch.
Exactly. While you're still maintaining and publishing updates for version 1.0, no crossover, no mess. It handles that complexity really well.
Okay, and then getting the content out. Publishing is key.
Definitely. Multi-channel publishing is a major feature. You can push content out as, standard PDFs for print.
Sure.
Modern HTML5 help centers that are searchable online, even push it directly into platforms like Zendesk or Salesforce as knowledge base articles.
Wow, okay. And you mentioned e-learning formats. SCORE.
Yes.
SCORE
stands for Shareable Content Object Reference Model. It's basically a standard for packaging content as trackable training modules.
So wait. You can take your documentation topics
if they're structured right in Paligo.
And output them as a formal course that tracks if someone completed it, maybe even scored them.
Exactly right. You can load it into a learning management system, an LMS. That turns your docs into actual training assets. It's a pretty powerful capability, bridging documentation and training.
That really elevates it. Okay, and for the IT folks listening, the infrastructure side.
Big appeal there, too. It's pure SaaS, software as a service. So no installing software locally, no managing servers on-premise. It runs in the browser. It's OS agnostic. The vendor handles updates, security patches, backups, all that infrastructure stuff. IT teams generally love that. Less operational burden for them.
So a pretty compelling list of advantages, especially for larger operations.
It does sound really good on paper, doesn't it?
It does. But no tool is perfect. There are always trade-offs. Before we dive into the downsides mentioned in the review, Let's take a brief break for a special message from our producer, Kurt Robbins.
Hi, this is Kurt Robbins. First, thanks for listening. I truly appreciate your support. I want to let you know that I'm currently accepting new clients. My rates are affordable, and I have more than 25 years of experience working for enterprise companies like Microsoft, Northrop Grumman, Oracle, PNC Bank, FedEx, USAA, and Wells Fargo, among many others. If you want to improve your IT documentation and communications, hire me. I deliver fast, know how to use AI to improve efficiency and accuracy, and love going the extra mile to satisfy my clients. Thank you for subscribing and listening. Back to you, Daphne and Fred.
Welcome back to the Technical Writing Success Podcast.
Okay, before the break, we covered the significant strengths of Paligo: the consistency, the reuse, the scalability, the publishing power. But Kurt Robbins' review is balanced, and it highlights some real challenges too. Let's talk barriers and inflexibility.
Right. And the first one is pretty unavoidable. It's the price.
Yeah, the elephant in the room. This is not cheap software. Plans start, according to the article, in the thousands of dollars per year.
Which immediately puts it out of reach for, most small companies, freelancers, individual consultants.
Exactly. The review puts it bluntly. This is the kind of tool you get hired to use at a company that's already invested in it, not something you typically buy for yourself. It's a serious capital expense decision for a business.
And beyond the cost, there's the user experience. While the UI looks polished, the review mentions user feedback about functional friction. Sometimes hiding the XML complexity leads to an editor that feels, well, the quote is, frustratingly inflexible.
What does that mean in practice?
Right.
What can't you do easily?
It means the system enforces its structure rigorously. If you're used to the freedom of word, where you can just, stick an image anywhere, format text however you like, Paligo forces you into its predefined topic types and structures. A warning might have to come before a procedure. Importing content might require a lot of cleanup to make it fit the structure. You can't just easily throw in unstructured, maybe marketing-style content. It fights you.
So that structure, which gives you consistency, can also feel restrictive, especially early on.
Definitely slows down adoption, yeah. And then there's customization, getting the final output to look exactly how you want.
The branding and layout, that's always a big one.
It is. And the review points out that while the default templates are okay, making significant changes to the look and feel of the PDFs or the HTML5 output, that often requires developers.
Developers, not just the tech writers fiddling with settings.
Usually not for deep changes, because you're often wrestling with the CSS and JavaScript that transforms the underlying XML into the final format. That's a specialized skill set. So if your writing team doesn't have easy access to developer resources, you might be stuck with outputs that don't quite match your corporate branding guidelines. It creates a dependency.
Okay, that's a significant hurdle. So considering the cost and these inflexibilities, who is this actually for? Let's nail down the target audience and ROI.
The review is pretty clear. Large enterprise organizations are the prime candidates. Companies managing really complex products, maybe multiple product lines.
Lots of shared content between them.
Exactly. High content overlap. And critically significant needs for translation into multiple languages.
Right, and that's where the ROI really kicks in, isn't it? The financial justification.
Oh, absolutely. It goes beyond just saving time on updates. Think about translation costs.
Because it's modular.
Precisely. You don't send the entire 500-page manual for translation every time there's an update. You only send the specific components, the individual topics that actually changed.
Okay, so instead of paying to translate 500 pages, you might only pay for 10 or 12 updated topics.
That's the idea. And for global companies, the savings on translation vendor costs can be enormous. That alone, the article suggests, can often justify that hefty price tag.
Makes sense. So conversely, for small or even medium-sized businesses,
it's a much harder sell. It's not just the money, it's the commitment to a whole new way of working. The review stresses the team needs to be fully vested in the structured authoring methodology.
You can't just dip your toes in.
No. It requires training, potentially restructuring all your existing content, enforcing those structural rules. For smaller teams, the effort and cost of adoption can easily outweigh the perceived benefits, at least initially.
And, as we said, for freelancers or solo consultants, the cost generally makes it a non-starter unless they're contracting with a large enterprise that uses it.
Correct. It's a specialized tool for complex problems at scale.
Okay. So wrapping up the review's conclusion, Paligo is powerful, yes. Highly specialized, definitely. Expensive Absolutely. It's built to solve enterprise-level documentation challenges, moving teams beyond basic tools.
It enforces that consistency and structure, but the payoff is genuine reusability, efficiency, especially with translation and maintenance costs.
It really clarifies who benefits most. But here's the final thought we want to leave you with, something to chew on. Given that high commitment, the cost, the time, the workflow changes, the real question for any organization that's scaling up isn't just, is Paligo a good tool?
Right. The deeper question is, has the pain of not having this level of structured consistency, the errors, the rework, the translation costs, the maintenance burden, has that cost finally become greater than the thousands of dollars per year sticker price?
That tipping point is different for everyone.
It is, and figuring out where you are on that curve, that's how you start getting smarter than your competition.
Thank you for listening to the Technical Writing Success Podcast. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. We'll see you next week.